Hello, my friends. I'm Rick, and this is your seat at the table. I'm sitting over here in the corner. Is little Missy. She's sleeping in the cat carrier at the moment. And yeah, it says high CPU usage just detected. Yeah. That's the thing about this exploit, this program that I use. It really pushes the limit on my laptop's capacity for CPU wise. So sometimes I get glitches. This is actually my second attempt at doing a video on this today. The first one, I don't know what happened. It just simply wasn't recording at all. Anyway, so we're looking at Shatter Sphere. This came out in late 1999, I believe, and as you can tell, I've read this book quite a few times. I made a lot of use of it. Since then, other source books have come out with a lot of the same information that's in here, but the setting is roughly toward the end of the clan invasion. The BattleTech has taken place. Operation Serpent is underway. Victor has gone and basically the Inner Sphere has defeated clan Smoke Jaguar and destroyed it, and sent a message to the rest of the clans. And in the meanwhile, back home, as typical Inner Sphere, all shit breaks loose. Catherine or Katrina or whatever the hell she wanted to call herself wanted to set herself up as supreme bitch of the Inner Sphere, and in part did everything she could to usurp her brother's position while he was away, and was quite successful at doing so. And ignoring the fact that, given half a chance, Victor would have probably just given her the job, because he really didn't want the job in the first damn place. And if she had just approached it just a hair different, of course that's just my opinion on that. Anyhow, so it breaks down the era of roughly 3058, 3062, somewhere in there, and we go from a brief intro into the history of the Inner Sphere, and then we break into the various houses. We got Twilight of the Clans, Task Force Serpent, Beyond the Periphery, so we already, most of us know how that works, the return home. And then we find ourselves at the Federated Commonwealth, which for the most part is mostly the old Federated Suns, and how it's going, what's going on within it, issues without, certain situations that occurred recently, things like the Leal American invasion, conflict with the clans, and of course conflict with the Lyran Alliance. Now, the Star League is reborn, and then it lasts for a short window, and then after about 8 years or so, after two leaders, it's basically voted to be dissolved, and everything goes to shit in a handbasket shortly after that, which is when we lead to the opening gambit of the Word of Blake Jihad. So we're looking at a lot of abbreviated house factions that are included in here, like always. The Lyran Alliance and how things are going on. There's a Whitting Conference, and the Alliance is born, current events, the Sky Rebellion, Ark Royals Defense Cordon, the Lyran Stone and the Chaos March, and other things of this nature. There are military assets, and the fact that no civil war goes unpunished, and both sides take a shellacking in certain areas of the Inner Sphere, and much to their detriment, in a short window later, force resources and military units that they're going to grossly wish they had when the Word of Blake's Jihad breaks loose. And then we get our personalities and things like that. We move on to the Draconis Combine, which is now having issues internally again. Like I said, of all the houses, House Karita has more internal problems than external problems, because the only two real foes the Karitas got to deal with are the Lyrans, and they're ham-fisted and haphazard at best, and the Federated Suns, which are damn good but lack the resources to really pursue it. Not to mention the current chaos going on in between. So you got the Black Dragon Society and other elements within the house that are causing issues and trouble. Now, the only house that really starts to come out of this really good is the Capella Confederation. Romano has started a bunch of programs to rebuild the shattered military and economy after the Fourth Succession War, and theirs are beginning to show fruit when her son takes over and begins his Xinzhen or Zenshin program. In this case, he's able to really beef up the military by reestablishing lost units in secret and creating new ones in secret, as well as advancing their technological equipment and things like this, puts them in a much grander position for their resurgence. And so far, the Confederation has been on the top since. The Dark Age and the Jihad era and the Dark Age have actually been really good time, or been really good to the Confederation compared to everybody else. I mean, they've had some issues. And of course, then there's the Republic era, which causes a whole other layer of problems. But at the end of the day, they've really come a long way from the almost being on their back after the Fourth Succession War ends. So this brings us to the Free Worlds League. And the Free Worlds League, at no point in its entire history. Now, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Come on, tell me I'm wrong. At no point in its history has the Free Worlds League been more economically and militarily and technologically sound than they are at the end of the client invasion. So at the right prior to the Jihad breaking out, they had managed to, Free Worlds had managed to physically not be in the path of the clan, so there was no major conflict taking place within its borders. Its two primary foes at that time were absorbed with other problems, so they really didn't have any reason or time to muck with the Free Worlds League. And as long as the Free Worlds League did the same thing, then there was no reason to try to go after him. And then we have the fact that we now have this false Merrick, but Thomas Merrick, who is able to achieve a lot of political moves that that the actual Merrick line had been trying for centuries and never succeeded at, which really reinforces the powers of the Captain General in general. But in the same venue, the fact that the duplicity of his existence leads, and their connection to the Word of Blake, once the Jihad breaks loose, puts stamps paid on all the advances and good work that the Free Worlds League were able to do. And it seems like out of all the houses, the Lyrans take a pretty big shellacking and are struggling to try to put themselves back together again. But the Free Worlds League literally disintegrates. It just literally falls into its components, and are still trying to reconstitute itself today, almost 100 years later. So it is what it is. And as the source book goes, it's kind of I don't want to say it's a collection of mini source books for the various factions, right? Kind of bringing everybody up to date for the game timeline and the lore story timeline, trying to kind of bring everything up to date into one spot when we put this book out, and then things go forward, of course. And we see the invasion of Terra by the Word of Blake, and the massive changes that begin to take place there. That's also talked about in here, which also leads to the inevitable Word of Blake Jihad. So anyway, this is the Shattered Sphere. And if you can get a copy of this, this is worth having. It's worth reading. Although I will point out that majority of the material that's in here is available in between novels and other source books. Most of the house handbooks of the era were including 90% of the information. There's not really a whole lot of new, unfamiliar material in here to my best of my knowledge. And if I'm wrong, hey, I'm wrong, and y'all can prove it. Awesome sauce. Anyway, it's actually turning into a beautiful weekend out here today. We are looking at, this is the 26th of August. So August is damn near wrapped up. The kids are back at school back here in Iowa. It's in the 80s out there and the humidity's down. Yesterday was 100 outside. So it's a huge difference. And this past week we've been under heat warnings, not heat advisories. The excessive heat, excess of 110, 112. We broke a record on Wednesday, I think. We broke the record from the 70s for heat. And I was trying my damnedest to avoid being in it as much as I could. I juggled my schedule around, so Monday night I was working out all Monday night and home most all day Tuesday, and so yesterday and Wednesday I had to make up for it and run my butt off, and I worked last night and so on and so forth. So I'm looking out there and I'm thinking it's a beautiful day. I got some stuff I need to get done outside too this weekend. Hopefully I can get to it. It is what it is. Right. Anyway, Ombre, till next time. Because you want the cat girls to exist.